Spanish 1, Introduction Sentences 129 through 132. 129. My best friend is named Miguel. Mi mejor amigo se llama Miguel. Mi mejor amigo se llama Miguel. 130. Miguel is tall and thin. Miguel es alto y delgado. Miguel es alto y delgado. 131. Miguel is 15 years old. Miguel tiene 15 años. Miguel tiene 15 años. And finally, 132. He has a big head and long hair. Él tiene una cabeza grande y pelo largo. Él tiene una cabeza grande y pelo largo. Now, let's look at 129. My best friend calls himself Miguel, or my best friend is named Miguel. Now, Mr. Holt, why does best go in front? Best is an adjective, and I thought adjectives followed. Here's the chant. Adjectives generally follow, except for forms of uno, bueno, and malo. Now, there are three forms of good. There's the word good, better, and best, and they all go in front of the noun. You already know this. How do you say good morning? Everybody, buenos dias. How do you say good afternoon? Buenas tardes. So the words good, better, and best all go in front of the noun. Okay? Now, 130, Miguel is tall and thin. Notice, we're talking about Miguel. I've underlined it. Mike, or Miguel, is the subject of the sentence. And since Mike is tall, since Mike is a boy, the word tall is going to end in an O. And since Mike is a boy, the word thin is going to end in an O. Remember, anytime you're describing a boy, it ends in an O. Which makes sense, because think about boys' names. Pedro, Paco, Benito, Manolo. Boys' names end in O. So if you're saying a boy is tall, or short, or fat, or thin, or rich, the word tall, short, fat, thin, rich is going to end in an O. Just think of the teeter-totter. When you see a description word, you think, who am I describing? If you're describing a boy, the description word ends in O. If you're describing a girl or something female, it ends in an A. Now, in English, we say Michael is 15 years old. In Spanish, we say Michael has 15 years. Okay? And you're going to see a bunch of phrases like that. Okay? So in English, we say Michael is 15. Makes it sound like he's the number 15. But in Spanish, I think Michael has 15 years makes sense because he has 15 years of life experience, or he has been alive 15 years. Okay? Now, finally, he has a big head and long hair. Now, Mr. Holt, we're talking about Michael. So shouldn't head end in O and shouldn't A end in O? No, be careful. He has a big head. We're talking about his head. And since cabeza is female, the word for a or one goes in front and is female. Because remember, adjectives generally follow except for uno, bueno, malo. So A is not referring to Michael here, it's referring to his head. And since head is cabeza female, A has to, one or A has to end in the letter A. Now, Mr. Holt, big is referring to his head. I don't understand. And since head ends in an A, shouldn't grande turn into granda? No, be careful. The letter E is both male and female. All right, so if something's male is big, like a town is big, you say pueblo grande. But if something female is big, it still ends in an E. You'd say una chica grande, a big girl. So the letter E is both male and female. E doesn't change. Now, and he has long hair. Now, is long referring to him or his hair? It's referring to hair. And since hair ends in an O, the word long has to end in an O. It has to teeter-totter. Remember, description words always teeter-totter and agree with the thing they're referring to. All right.